Hi there, thanks for tuning into Dear Sybersue. I'm Susan McCord. Today's topic is the silent breakup, when you're still together but you're emotionally checked out of your relationship. This is a topic that I wanted to talk about because it's happening so much now, especially if you've been together for 5, 10, 15 years. This is changing how everybody lives within their partnership. What's happening is people are just going through the motion. They're living their life, doing the basics, the household chores, errands, the kids, just maintaining the home. And what happens is the relationship takes a toll of demise because there's nobody putting energy into nurturing the love part of the relationship. As I've mentioned numerous times, communication is always the most important thing you can have in your relationship because that will always keep you on an even path together because you're not letting things go. When you let your relationship slip between your fingers because you're not paying close enough attention to what's actually transpiring, you're sometimes the last person to know that your partner has checked out. And when this happens, it can be a really hard situation to repair. The reason that I call this the silent breakup is because neither of you are talking about it or actually paying attention to the changes happening in your relationship. So you just start walking by each other in the hall, in the kitchen, nodding at each other and sort of living separate lives within your partnership. All of a sudden you look around and you say, what has happened to us? Where's the spark gone? There's no romantic connection anymore. You're not having a lot of intimacy with each other and you're becoming basically platonic and sometimes not even good friends. You're just living your life in the same home, but you're doing it separately. When you become emotionally disconnected from each other, it's really hard to come back from this place because you're not communicating about it, or if you have communicated about it and it's not getting better, you just sort of bury it and you just live each day as it comes. So what starts to happen is the pullback comes in. The door starts shutting slowly between you. You're not sharing things like you used to in the past. And this is something that so many people let go of. And it's really not that difficult to maintain, but you have to do the work. You have to put the energy in to keep reciprocated communication going between you. When you first met each other, you shared so much together. You loved each other unconditionally. You had respect for each other. You talked to one another and you always communicated your feelings. This is something that goes by the wayside after many years together, but it's the one thing that is the glue that will keep you surviving as a couple. But everyone gets complacent or they become, I don't know what, just not involved anymore. They lose interest, they get bored, and so they just shut down. But it's an investment. And like any investment, you have to put energy into it. If you can stop this initially from happening and understand that it's going that way, you have a much bigger chance of rekindling your relationship with each other. And it can be done, but don't let it go for so long and just start living separately in your home. If you're here right now questioning whether this has become an issue in your relationship, ask yourself the question, are you living separately? Are you spending a lot of time alone? Does your partner go out and do things with their friends while you're at home and you're doing your own thing? Are you communicating at all, or is it strictly about basic routine situations regarding the kids or the home? Has your intimacy stopped or slowed down incredibly, take the time to sit down and communicate what is going on. That is the first thing you have to do, because some couples actually get to this point without even talking about it. Just over time, it gets to that place. You have to still nurture each other to keep that part of your relationship strong, because your partner is the priority. Go to couples counseling, because sometimes a third party needs to come in to let you see what's going on here, what you're both contributing to make this happen. And that's important, because if you become hostile or you blame each other for everything, you're not going to be able to fix it. So that's something that you want to make sure that you take responsibility for your own part in everything. You can salvage your relationship when you still love each other and you're both on the same page as to wanting it to work. If you don't know how you got here, it's a lot harder to fix the situation. So be really transparent, be vulnerable with each other, and let your guard down. Talk about it. Even if you're afraid of how they might react, it's still better to be honest about what you're feeling than just sort of let it sit back and you're not telling the whole story, because that will also keep you stuck. Silence is not golden in this case. This is something that needs to be addressed, because just because you're not fighting or arguing with each other doesn't mean that everything's okay in your relationship. Some people just don't want any confrontation, so they will shut down and not talk about what's really going on. Take the time to sit down and tell your partner you need to talk to them for a few minutes. When you start to do this on a regular basis, you will notice that your communication levels go up and they become very natural and easy, because you're not letting things fester. So if you've tried the counseling, you've tried talking to each other and communicating at that same level as when you met each other in the beginning, and it's still not working out the way you would like, at least you know you made the effort to do everything possible to try and fix it. Sometimes we grow apart. Sometimes we can't repair some of the damage. Love doesn't always die from one big problem. It dies from a lot of silent issues that aren't discussed. You're both in charge of keeping this love alive. And if one person pulls away and checks out, it's really difficult to repair. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dear Sybersue today. Please subscribe. Please leave any comments you have. I love hearing from you, and I'll always answer you back. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.